welcome to Yo-Yo Talk. It's been a couple months and I took a little hiatus. I needed a little break over the holidays, and the holidays just hit funny. But I'm back now, and we're right in the middle of the selection process of the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame for the inductees for 2025. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that a little bit later in the show. I just want to remind people, too, that are watching to please check in. Put in the chat if you have any questions. We like to have the interaction because it is live, so we can have interaction with you guys. So let us know that you're watching, and I can spread a little bit of verbal abuse among our viewers. And I can take it as well. I can deal it out, so I can take it. So please leave your comments in the chat. And yes, we will be having our trivia contest at the end of the show, so please stick around for that. The more, the merrier on the trivia contest. And of course, there will be no prize money or gold doubloons passed out. You are doing this for the love of competition, bragging rights, and of course, immortality, which will be bestowed upon the winner. Now, the Immortality Award does come with an expiration date unless you purchase our extended warranty, which is only good until your death. The extended warranty can be purchased for yo-yos or cash, whichever you prefer. I personally prefer the yo-yos. Now, it's almost Valentine's Day, and I want to show you a couple of very cool gifts not to give your wife for Valentine's Day. You got to trust me on this, guys. Unless your wife happens to be an inductee into National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. And then I would still not recommend giving these as your Valentine's Day gift. So no matter how cool you think giving your wife a yo-yo is for Valentine's Day, it is a very, very bad idea. Unless your Valentine happens to be 7 years old. You may love your wife more than yo-yos, but these gifts definitely don't prove that. Now, I'm going to give you some definite no's, and then maybe some possibly, maybe this, I can pull this one off. So let's start. Let's take a look at this first one here. This is a yo-yo made from a Russell Stover chocolate box. It actually worked at some point, unfortunately not that well as it came apart when I was kind of testing it. But when I say it actually worked, I don't mean as a Valentine Day gift. Even if it was full of chocolates, I'm not sure it would work. Maybe if it was full of Godivas, okay. But Russell Stovers, I'm not so sure. Now, I can't remember where I got this. I know I got a big box of prop yo-yos from somebody, and they were all kind of neat, but I just don't remember the origin of this, or I would tell you where it came from. But I thought it was odd. Don't think you're going to find one of these out in your local shops. Now, here is some OTC 10 Valentine's yo-yos. These are great for your teachers to give out to kindergarten students, but otherwise not very useful on Valentine's Day. OTC, of course, refers to Oriental Trading Company. That's the big producer of these kind of generic tin yo-yos. They still make them. They're really cheap. They don't play well, but they have graphics on them, so some people like me collect them. I'm not sure if all these came from like that Cupid one there. I don't think that was OTC, but you get kind of the idea. These yo-yos were kind of produced in the 1980s, early 90s. There may be some more modern versions of Valentine yo-yos, but there are really not a lot of collectible Valentine yo-yos out there. Only a half a dozen or so that I've seen. Not like other holidays like Christmas or Halloween, where there are literally hundreds of different varieties. And again, as I've mentioned before, there is a reason for that. Unless you are trying to get rid of your current Valentine, these should be marked as a definite no as a potential Valentine's Day gift. Now, and that would, even if you have a perfect slot for that yo-yo in your collection, I still wouldn't pass this on to your Valentine. Now, One grade level above these OTC yo-yos are the Hallmark heart yo-yos, which you've probably seen. That one there, you can see the little price tag of $395. I think it was released around the early 90s. Again, this will not impress your Valentine unless you replace it with a diamond tennis bracelet for the string, which is actually not a bad idea if you really wanted that yo-yo or any other yo-yo for that matter, because I can assure you that tennis bracelet would be off that yo-yo faster than a 90 off of a newlywed. So now, speaking of those Hallmark yo-yos, there are a couple of fantasy pieces out there. Okay, here we go. We've got the Mickey Mouse here and the Kermit the Frog. These are both the Hallmark yo-yos that you just saw there, but these have stickers placed on them. They are definitely not licensed. You can see Mickey Mouse here and Kermit the Frog. I think some dealers actually do this intentionally to fool people into thinking that these are some sort of licensed memorabilia or something, which they are not. So you don't want to pay a premium price for these unless your Valentine was a Mickey Mouse or Kermit the Frog freak. If you are going that route for Valentine's Day, they really need to be, you really need to dress up in a big Mickey Mouse or Kermit the Frog costume that has a lot of padding, because I can guarantee you, you will need that padding from all the blows you will get from your Valentine. So now, those are ones that I definitely wouldn't give to your Valentine. Now, so here's some Valentine yo-yo ideas that you might possibly get away with presenting this to your Valentine without a trip to the emergency room. This first one may work if you're 14. It's a bracelet with a charm box on it. Now, for some reason, I forgot to load the next picture. But if you open up that little charm box, there is a yo-yo inside that has the little pearls on it. I think this is a pretty hefty bracelet there, about 17 pounds. I think I ruptured my bicep tendon just picking it up. So, again, fake pearls, I assume, on this yo-yo that's in the box, and it's also on the little box on the outside. So it's kind of cute for a budding romance for a young teenager, or maybe an older romance that has a little bit of dementia, who can be convinced those are real pearls. Anyway, now let's go on to the next one. If your Valentine is into charm bracelets, you might just get away with this one. This is a sterling silver charm bracelet. Now, it's not a yo-yo, it's not playable, but it does look like a little miniature yo-yo, and it does say yo-yo on it. And I think this will work for your Valentine. But you may need to have a bonus gift. We'll call this a prequel Valentine's Day gift. So what could you give as a bonus that might do the trick? Well, I think this will work in the new romance or honeymoon phase of a relationship, largely because in that phase of a relationship, you could present them with a stuffed duck-billed platypus, and they would be all hugging and kissing and smiles. Once you're married and your wife has seen the 10,000th yo-yo being blessed into your collection, probably still not the best gift for you. So this is a gold necklace with a gold medallion and real diamonds. I forget who was making these. It was probably about 20 years ago. They were doing some special custom orders for this. He was a jeweler that was into yo-yos at the time, and I am totally blocked on the name. I think his last name started with a C, but I'm not sure. It was kind of cool. Glad I got it. And if she doesn't like the little yo-yo medallion, which is not a yo-yo, it's just a medallion showing the old Duncan jeweled yo-yo, she's not going to complain too much because she can take it off, and then she's got a gold necklace, so you can't complain about that too much. Now I'm going to save the best for last. And again, if your wife is planning on giving you a manicure and a trip to the spa for her gift, I would give her this gold French yo-yo, probably from the 1930s. It's either 12 karat or 10 karat gold. I can't remember. You trade gifts with your wife, and then you're each happy. And that's what Valentine's Day is all about. This yo-yo, with the price of gold now being over $5,000 an ounce, probably has a value somewhere between $500 and $1,000 worth of gold in it. A much better deal than a manicure and a trip to the spa, I might add. Your wife doesn't need to know that, though. All right. So let's move on and talk a little bit about the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. The nominations have been completed. Normally, what we do is take nominations and then submit all the nominations to the members of the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. We have 3 individuals with the most nominations automatically getting into the finalist pool. The current Hall of Fame members select 7 other nominees from the rest of the nomination pool. But again, for this second year in a row, we've only had 10 nominations in each of the categories. And those categories are the at-large category and the Golden Age category. We didn't have to go through this winnowing down process, calling those folks out. So essentially, everybody nominated this year is a candidate for the Hall of Fame, and all of them are worthy nominations. So they're all great yo-yo people and all worthy to be in the Hall of Fame. So there was a question raised by one of the board members on who was eligible to be nominated. Are these individuals that are just Americans because it's the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame? Or is anybody anywhere in the world a potential nominee, inductee into the Hall of Fame? Well, we already had a couple inductees that were Canadian, but I polled the current members of the Hall of Fame, and they have overwhelmingly decided that the Hall of Fame should be open to anybody in the world, and that's great. And we may actually in the future consider a name change from the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame to maybe just the Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. But I'm going to do another poll here in the near future with the Hall of Famers and decide if they want to go that route. Now, when in selecting inductees, we have 2 at-large categories. Those would be the 2 at-large inductees and 1 inductee from the Golden Age of yo-yos, which means they were active prior to 1965 with the yo-yo. Only individuals in the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts are allowed to vote. This is a Facebook page that is limited to only members. If you are a member, please go there to the link for the voting. Please do not share this link with other people because this is only for individuals that have been vetted and are in the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts. The Academy of the Yo-Yo Arts Group represents the voting pool in selecting the inductees into the National Hall of Fame. So the past Hall of Fame inductees are all on the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame page. You can go there, National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. So you can kind of think of the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts as the Academy of Yo-Yoing, if you will. And you must have made some worthy contributions to our sport or art form. And let me give you some examples of what a worthy person is to perhaps be in the Academy. And you can sign in and you can just tell us why you're worthy of being in, and then we'll vet you. So, professional performers, sponsored players, demonstrators, authors or books or articles on the yo-yo, yo-yo videographers, designers, manufacturers, judges, attendees at multiple nationals or world championships, contest promoters, collectors that have contributed something to the movement other than just having a drawer full of yo-yos. You kind of get the idea. If you have not made personal contributions to the yo-yo community, then you aren't quite worthy yet as a voter. So if you enjoy playing the yo-yo or posting a couple of videos on TikTok of your latest learned trick, that doesn't really count. Entering a local contest where you won a patch, still probably not worthy. I think most of you are kind of know who needs to be in that group and who's not. So I'm going to go through our nominees. These are the final finalists for the 2025 National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. When you're voting, you can pick two. These are our at-large candidates. And what I'm going to show you now is just on the background as I'm talking are our current members of the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame. Ray Iwakura is a 7-time world yo-yo champion. He's a yo-yo historian and has a massive collection. Paul Bluthi, early Playmax demonstrator, team high performance member, and one of the top players in the 80s and 90s. Jerry Vidine, he was a post-World War II Duncan demonstrator. He toured all over the United States and in Europe. He's also one that is listed as a Golden Age nominee as well. Hank Freeman, he's the 3-time world champion in the 3A division. Brandon Vu, 2-time Australian national champion, pioneer yo-yo content creator with over 1 million YouTube subscribers. Gustavo Velez, he's a Russell yo-yo demonstrator from the 70s through the 90s. He did campaigns in 53 different countries. Chuck Short, a member of Team High Performance. He was a high-profile player in the 80s and 90s. Also made the cover of Fiend magazine, as I recall. Mark Hayward, he's a professional yo-yo player and juggler. He's a Guinness World Record holder, and he's got major national mainstream television exposure, too. Brad Countryman, founder of the Hummingbird Yo-Yo Company and the BC Yo-Yo Company, What's Next Yo-Yo. Tyler Severance, he's a former world counterweight champion and multiple national champion in the 5A division as well. For the Golden Age nominees, now you can pick one of these. Dick Moffat, he was the program promotion manager and demonstrator for both Cheerio out of Canada and the Russell Yo-Yo Company. Tom Parks, a Duncan Yo-Yo demonstrator from age 14, best known for his Duncan's VHS video, How to Be an Expert with Tom Parks. Nemo Concepcion, one of the original 1930 demonstrators. He's best known for the documentary Yo-Yo Man. Jerry Vidine, which I've mentioned before, is also nominated again in the Golden Age category. Tommy Reyes was one of the original 1930s Duncan Yo-Yo demonstrator. He later worked with Tom Radovan at the Royal Yo-Yo Company, and he later was the owner of the Eagle Yo-Yo Company. Al Gallo originally was a Cheerio demonstrator, went on to own the Canadian Cheerio Yo-Yo Company, and then national, and then was a consultant for the Parker Yo-Yo Company. Bob Rolla, he's a professional yo-yo demonstrator in the 1950s and 60s, and was especially prominent in the Duncan Russell Ives foreign division for the Duncan Yo-Yo Company. And the Mighty Mo Abdelbaki, he was a yo-yo demonstrator, best known for his podcast episode of his Yo-Yo Remembrances. So there you have it. Those are our nominees for the 2025 Hall of Fame. We will pick 3 inductees. Again, you can go to the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts page on Facebook. If you are a member, you can vote. You can still, if you're a worthy person, you can still click in there and ask to be led into the group and still vote. But please do not share the link with anybody that is not a member of the Academy of Yo-Yo Arts. All right, before we get on to the trivia contest, let's see. Do we have, is this live? John Bosa says. Yes, we are live, John. So ask your questions. I see John Mashral's in, Rick Rentz, Big Dog Yo-Yos and Collectibles. All right, good. Glad to see you tuned in. Hopefully we have some other folks that are going to participate in our trivia contest tonight. Have I won any yo-yo contest? No, I have not won any yo-yo contest. My only claim to fame is that I participated in the first modern national championships in 1993 in Chico, California, and just missed getting into the finals, the final five. But and then I realized when I started seeing how much yo-yos were changing that I'm a much better swimmer and underwater hockey player than I am with the yo-yo, although I do have some yo-yo skills and do throw for pleasure. So, but no real competitions for me. I'd rather do it in the water. All right, so I wanted to show you a couple things I saw on eBay before we get into our trivia contest. Nothing much over the last couple of months has really caught my eye. I've bought a few things here and there. This first thing is a display of Star Return Tops. Star Return Tops, if you're not familiar, is an off-brand company that made yo-yos that were, quite frankly, a bit inferior in quality. The Duncan Yo-Yos in the late 1950s, early 1960s, they were all wooden yo-yos. Some of them had stamp seals. Some of them were a little more of an imprint seal and sticker. But the only nice thing about this is it does show the different styles of the yo-yos from the Star Yo-Yo Company. And I believe this shows all the different ones that I'm aware of. Now, the asking price was like $199 or something like that. Pretty high for those yo-yos. I think these yo-yos probably run in the $10 to $25 range. And, if they were all in mint condition, yeah, maybe I could see that. But I think it's a little high. So anyway, that's it about the Star Yo-Yo tops. There was a package that had a Star Yo-Yo. I think it came with marbles and maybe a jump rope or jacks or something like that too. So they were out there, just not a promoted line. I've not seen anything to indicate there's any kind of contest or anything like that. And I just will mention, just put it back on me. I am going to mention that I am working on a book on patches and string packs. Literally, it's 95% done now. We're just doing the final editing on that. I have, if any of the Hall of Famers out there have got those photos I sent, I'm still trying to identify some of these unknown, especially some of these royal string packs are a little tough to date and get what country they were from. And there were some patches, too, that were unknowns, too. So just a little reminder, if you saw those photos and have any thoughts on any of those, I'd appreciate your help in those. So this other thing on eBay that I want to show you is from the Medalist series. You may recall that when Duncan went bankrupt in around 1964, I think they took over, bought the Lays in 1965. I can't remember what happened is I'm not quite sure of the timeline. I think they may have taken over and they tried to produce their own line of yo-yos. It was the Strombeck Manufacturing Company. But anyway, they made, with the Duncan Lays, these Trickmaster yo-yos. Those are wooden yo-yos. Those were essentially the same as the Crossflag Duncan yo-yos. And those were actually pretty decent yo-yos. They also had a plastic yo-yo, that one right in the middle, which is a trophy yo-yo. I don't know. That's the equivalent of the Imperial plastic yo-yo that Duncan was making and that Flambeau still kind of makes. I don't know if Flambeau had a deal with Strombeck to produce their yo-yo or not. And that one in the upper right corner, that's just their, I think they just maybe called it the Medalist. But that was a beginner's yo-yo. That one has like a stocking number on it. So I suspect that was a yo-yo that was used for promoting their line as to the jobbers and all that. Now, there was another Medalist yo-yo, which I don't have, which is pretty rare, called the Orbiter. And I am assuming, and if anybody knows any history on this one, please chime in. This is a pretty rare, and I believe this was probably produced by the Strombeck company under the Medalist brand. But that is very rare. And from the looks of it, I believe that is probably the size of the beginner's yo-yo. So anyway, I thought that was just interesting. I don't. This was also, they were asking right around $200 for it. I don't think the prices really align well with the yo-yos that are included in that frame. But I thought it was interesting to show everybody that, because these are two things I hadn't seen before up on eBay. Most of the stuff up there is pretty routine stuff, although there are a few good patches and stuff up there right now. All right. Well, we've made it this far. I think it's time for us to get into our trivia contest. So what they need to sign in. Do we have the sign in set up for that? Oh, they're in. Oh, okay. So you're in. If you're in the chat, you're in our trivia contest. So I'm just going to get going with the first question again. This is just for fame and glory. You're not going to get any more. The first one to get the most, obviously, if you get 3 answers right, you win. I've got 5 questions. If we have a tie, I have a 6th question to, if we have like a 2 and 2 and a 1 or something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go with our first question, and it is the first person that answers correctly in our chat. What 2 years was the Duncan Yo-Yo Olympics held? What 2 years was the Duncan Yo-Yo Olympics held? And now we are just waiting for those answers to come in. The Yo-Yo Olympics was, and I will give you a hint already, this was a campaign done by Duncan Flambeau. And so we're waiting for the 2 years. We got, let's see. No, 88 and 99 is not correct. 77, 78, nope. Getting closer, though, folks. We are getting closer. This was a Duncan Flambeau promotion. I think we had a little bit of a craze in the early 70s, and then it kind of dropped off. I was just talking to John Gates about this, Hall of Famer. I don't know if John's watching. He'll probably get all the answers right if he is, because we were just talking about this. Let's see. Well, wait, I think we got an answer. Here we go. Yes. 1979, 1980. John Maishral is the winner of the first questions. So this was an interesting promotion by Duncan, and I'm going to actually maybe have another question about this contest in just a second. So I won't say much more. So we'll get on to our second question here, and that is, what was the first prize for the national champion in the Duncan Yo-Yo Olympics in 1978 and 79? What was the first prize? So we're waiting to find out what the first prize was. And if you're way off base, I'll start kind of eliminating prize categories. So I'll give you a hint. It was not a ribbon. Bicycle. Good guess. That was an older prize that was very coveted, but that is not right. Trophy. They did give a trophy, but that wasn't the main prize. People are going with bicycles. Trophies. It was not a patch. It was not a ribbon. I'll tell you that. Custom yo-yo. Nope, it was not a custom yo-yo. Another great prize given out by the original Duncan Yo-Yo Company and used still to this day as prizes. Any other thoughts, guys? Any other thoughts? Okay, I'm going to give you a big hint. $5,000. Well, There was a $5,000 prize for a national championship, but that was a scholarship in the 64 and 63 nationals. I will tell you $500. Okay, let me tell you this. It was a savings bond. Tell me the amount. The number has not coming up yet. Nope, scholarship. It was a savings bond. I just want to know the amount of it. Gigi. Gigi? Gigi? See, I can't even read that. Oh, I don't know. All right, it is a savings bond. Give me a number. Give me a number of that amount in that savings bond that they won. $100? Nope. Whoop, wait, I think I just saw it. $1,000. Who said it first? We got two. We're going to check. We got a tie here. It was a $1,000 savings bond. Brian Bell. Is that right? Let's stand up. Okay, Brian Bell, it looks like, is okay. So we have a tie now with John Myshral and Brian Bell. Okay, so we're going to move right along to question number 3. In the Yo-Yo Olympics, oh my gosh, are we stuck on this? They had a local, city, state, and regional contest. How many regions were there? Now, they advertised that they were having over 1,000 contests with the Yo-Yo Olympics in the Parks and Recreation Department. And I'm not sure they had that many, but they did have this many regions. So let's tell me how many regions there were. Oh, first answer is correct. 9. Who was that? Let's see. They got that right off. There was no weight on that. Okay. It's going so fast on my computer screen, it's off the screen. We're going to have to check it on the phone here. Oh, John Bozung. Yep. Okay, so we got a 3-way tie going here. We got a 3-way. John and Bell. Brian Bell. All right. So, next question. Oh my gosh, this is another Yo-Yo Olympics question. What was the main first prize for the regional Duncan Yo-Yo Olympics winner? Main first prize for the regional. We'll see what that is. Here we go. I'm not seeing anything coming up yet. We'll give it a second to load here. I think we're about 10 seconds ahead of you guys in a way. So we're looking for the main first prize. Oh, wait, we got an answer. Well, wait a minute. Okay. Oh boy, we have two answers. One was $100, which isn't exactly correct, and one was $100 savings bond, which is correct. So who said the $100 savings bond? Oh, there it is. 100. Nope. It's loading. I see Rick said $100, but who said $100 savings bond? Simcoe. All right, Simcoe. What, we got a 4-way tie now? Holy moly! This is incredible, folks. I don't know. This is let's go to the next. Wait a minute. Don't put the answer up yet. All right, here we go. Yo-Yo Olympics. In 1980, Yo-Yo Olympics, what other brand co-branded the campaign and piggybacked marketing with Duncan? What was that brand? It started out originally in 1980 as just the Yo-Yo Olympics, but then they added a twist to it about halfway through, rebranding it. I think it was probably because they were using it to piggyback marketing, which made it cheaper for. There we go. First up quick. Who did that? Oh, John Myshral is going to be the official winner because that was like a 5th question, right? So he is that Sugar Crisp did brand with them. But just for fun, I'm going to throw in a sixth question, even though John Maishral gets the actual pat on the back for being the trivia champion this month because he's answered 2 questions correctly and everybody else that answered 1. But I'm going to give you a kind of a bonus trivia question here. So maybe you guys that answered 1 can say, well, we actually tied. All right. So the finals of the 1980 contest were held at Universal Studios in California. What famous movie character appeared in a newspaper promotion playing the yo-yo, actually doing Rock the Baby, promoting this championship? What famous movie character? Oh, this could be a tough one. Matter of fact, if you get this one and you already answered one, you might say you really did tie for the win. And if you hadn't answered one yet, you might say this was worth 2 questions of those other ones, because this is a good one. Let's see if anybody can come up with this right up. Tommy Smothers, no, that is not correct. Good thought, though. Good thought. What does that say? E.T.? E.T., nope. Hulk Hogan. Ha! No, I think he was just a kid back in 1980. Mickey Mouse at Universal Studios? Don't think so. Nope. Yoda. Again, well, let's see. No, Yoda. That's not a Universal Studios person, I don't think. Darth Vader. I think we're getting into the Star Wars. I don't think. Did Universal have Star Wars? Good Mickey Mouse. Nope. No Mickey Mouse. No Disney characters on this. I'll give you a hint. No Disney characters. I have. What? Oh. Let's see. What does that say? Batman. Oh, that's a DC comic book. James Bond. I don't think he was Universal. He might have been. Captain who? Picard. Star Wars. Is Star Wars Universal? I don't know. I don't know if that's. I mean, Star Trek. Sorry. Don't send me hate mail. I don't want to sound like Penny from The Big Bang Theory, getting them mixed up here. Captain Picard. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you a hint because you guys seem to be getting a little bit stumped on this. Universal Studios. What are their main characters when you think of Universal Studios? And it's not King Kong. Okay, that's about as far as I'm going to give you hint-wise. All right. Godzilla. Now we're getting somewhat closer, but it is not Godzilla. He-Man. Spider-Man. That's Marvel. I don't know if that's, is that a, yeah, I guess that's a Universal person. That's a good guess. Come on, you guys. Come on. Universal Studios. Harry Potter. Yeah, but 1980, guys? Not. Oh, there it is. Well, we got it. Frankenstein. Who said that? R.C. Yo-Yo, man. You got some bragging rights there, my friend. Good job. It was Frankenstein. I just came on this picture today, literally. Had no idea. But there he is doing Rock the Baby. Kind of curious on who was playing Frankenstein there. But, yeah, it's Frankenstein. It was kind of interesting with the Yo-Yo Olympics. The first championships, it looks like to me that the winner was, his last name was Singh Pal, which would have been, I believe, the son of Linda Singh Pal, the Hall of Famer. And there was another person named Caffrey, which I believe is probably the son of Mike Caffrey of came up with, he did the clutch mechanism, was involved with Duncan and all that. So sounded like a little bit of nepotism maybe there in that first yo-yo contest. So anyway, I want to thank you all for participating in the trivia contest. Congratulations to John Maishral. I guess you're the official winner. I will leave you with one last thought. What Hall of Famer looks most like Frankenstein in the photo? Feel free to post your answers, but I would strongly consider rethinking punching that send button before you do. Anyway, that's about all I have for Yo-Yo Talk tonight. We will see you on March 5th, and we will announce who the new 3 inductees into the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame are. So make sure you tune in, and as always, remember, you can never have too many yo-yos. Thanks for watching. This is Doc Lucky signing off.